Hello guys, and welcome to a guide about, or more specifically, not exactly a guide, but a few guideline points about craft. And now I've recently noticed a Facebook post in one group that made me realize that I should really dive into making videos again. And this is the first thing that came to my mind since, as you can see on the screen right now, I'm crafting on and out, and a lot of people who are starting to play this game seem to be kind of lost in crafting because it is useful in a lot of MMOs. And so here is basic tips in 2016, the seventh year of the Aion journey of the Aion world, as what is crafting, and at this point in the game after the 4.8 patch, which brought a major crafting overhaul, how it is going to impact the game itself and your experience in it, and how crafting is implemented into the system of the game itself. Now, uh, the first thing that you have to understand while taking up crafting Neon is that no craft besides cooking and alchemy is going to be profitable in the end. The only other craft I might think of that could be profitable is handicrafting, but that is only if you spend your time farming all the materials by yourself and actually going to the housing areas, Pernon and Oria respectively, depending on if you are Asmodean or Ilios, and getting your life leaves from the agreements yourself to craft mounts. Now, that's one thing that handicrafts can do. The other vocations of crafting, the other crafting disciplines, armorsmithing, weaponsmithing, uh, construction, they are mostly not really profitable. The reason why this is because with the 4.8 patch and with the overhaul and quote unquote simplification of crafting system, we've gotten a lot, it's gotten a lot harder to gather materials. And before that, crafting was not really profitable either because, first of all, it's really exhausting to craft, and second of all, you need a ton of materials for the high level crafts. Like, I'm talking about thousands of materials that someone somewhere eventually has to gather. Like, you can buy them from trade to trade, you can buy them from another players, you can buy them from the auction house. But in the end, someone has to craft those tens of thousands of materials. When I first got into my real crafting, like when I first really crafted, that was back in the 2.7 patch when the cap was 55, and back then the crafting actually had a purpose, because my purpose back then was to make a full signature set of armor for myself, for my gladiator that I had back then, because it was actually possible. Because when the level cap was 55, the game allowed you to make the final result of your work was a signature handcrafted set that bore the name of the creator on it. So you actually had your own armor, like, you know, Kitty, Lily's, Drenium armor, so that sort of thing. So basically, the name of your character was imprinted on the item. And it was a really good item though. But nowadays, the crafting is not like that anymore. The carved designs have been they are really outdated. There have been numerous ways that NCSoft approached the crafting system, trying to renew it, trying to bring something new, like the introduction of the Shapers faction in 4.5, I believe it was. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, which brought basically a faction that allowed you to do daily crafting quests for tokens that you could use to buy designs that you would otherwise only get via killing monsters. Now, with the newest patch in 2016, it's not like that anymore. The Shapers have been removed, or the Shapers of Dusk, and you can buy all the designs in the entire game well, almost all of them, the low level designs anyway. You can buy all the designs up to level 60 from NPCs for Kina, which is the in-game currency. Now, the problem with this is that uh, with the latest patch, they also, besides removing the shapers, they introduced this simplified crafting system that basically does not allow procced materials to be gathered any longer. That means that for gathering, let's say, 20,000 of Drenium ores or Titanium ores, whichever ores you want, like I'm using right now, Titanium ores. Before you could gather like a greater Titanium ore. When you were gathering the node Essence Step in, it could prog into a greater Titanium ore that you could then disassemble for 3 Titanium ores or use in the higher grade designs. This is no longer the case. All of the higher grade items and the higher grade crafting fluxes have been made obsolete and no longer are usable in crafting. What this means for the player is that you have to manually grind thousands of ingredients for every craft instead of let's say just hundreds. If you got lucky, it could be hundreds. Now it's thousands. And the same goes for fluxes. And that made crafting highly unprofitable. Also, the removal of the upper abyss mobs and the change of the lower abyss mobs to become elites and really annoying to kill elites while at that has led to a massive decrease of the circulation or the overall amount of bellic materials on the broker on the auction house, which means that you can no longer utilize bellic receipts and bellic crafting, which usually brought quite nice items in the end it used to bring. So what's the purpose of crafting right now? Right now, crafting your own weapons, armor, accessories, whatever, is just a waste of money. If you are a new player, the only thing I would advise you to do now, I strongly advise you to level up a craft despite of the fact that not all of the crafts are profitable. Only cooking and alchemy can be profitable at some certain points. With the removal of some grades of potions, alchemy has fallen in profitability as well. So the most profitable profession right now, I would say, is cooking. Because can not only make food, which everyone needs, but they can also make adaptive Idian crystals, which are needed to craft ceramic metals by other crafting disciplines that can be used to buy PvP gear. Now, that might change in the future patch, so I'm not saying pick cooking. What I'm saying is pick any discipline you like, pick any discipline you like, it does not matter, as long as it fits you, it's okay. Whatever you want to craft, you go for that. And here's the basic overview. Weaponsmiths make blunt weapons and cutting weapons like swords, great swords, pole arms, maces, shields, but they also make daggers, they also make, I believe they also make cipher blades for either decks. Now, armorsmiths make plate armor and chain armor and headgear. Tailors tailors make cloth armor and leather armor and respective headgear. And handicrafters, they make jewelry, but they also make longbows, harps, bows, and staves, and also googles, glasses. Um, Construction workers make furniture or housing. Alchemists create spellbooks and orbs, but they also create potions and scrolls. And finally, cooks can create food and certain types of house decoration and certain weapons. Now, uh, that is the basic overview of crafting. So pick whichever you want. Now, the real important thing for as a new player in Aeon is start leveling your Essence Tapin and Ether Tapin. As soon as you start the game, you can start leveling up your collection, and when you hit level 10, you will be forced to switch from collection to Ether Tapin. Because collection is basically a human skill, and after your ascension, without spoiling too much plot, you are no longer able to collect the human resources. You will have to resort to Devonian resources, which means Ether Tapping and Essence Tapping. Now, Ether Tapping, Ether Tapping specifically, might seem a little tedious at first. Okay, let's say it like this. It really is tedious and annoying, but if you level up Ether Tapping, you can find yourself making some pretty decent kina from selling all those eaters all of a sudden. And that's because Ether can be morphed literally into any other resource you might possibly need by using divine points and morph recipes. And as far as essence tapping goes, you will need it for certain campaign, not campaign, but you will need it for certain side quests and for certain areas of the game. Um, you will need it in some instances to remove certain obstacles from the path, like in Dark Poeta S rank or in Eternal Bastion Group 2. You will need that gathering. So it's always nice to level Essence Step in while you are leveling, or you can do it after. But I certainly recommend every tune that you are that you are going to play seriously. If you are a new player to Aeon and you feel like you are going to stay true to that one character and really devoted to it, it does not hurt to level up Essence Tapping to the maximum level possible, level up Ether Tapping to the maximum level possible, and also level up one craft of your choice. Now you can only have one craft above the master level, which is 500 points. But for example, you can uh, accept construction. You can have one craft and construction. Additionally, you can have one craft of your choice and then construction both at the master level. And then the number of crafts you can have at 499 is not limited. Now, the reason why you want to have at least one master craft is that because in future patches, crafting might get improved a lot again. We we don't know what NCSoft plans for us until we see it with our own eyes. And another thing is you will need that crafting eventually in some Devonian quests or in other quests. You will need that crafting, and when you get yourself immersed into the game and when you play for a couple of months, you might want to get an alternative character and you don't care about money that much anymore because money is pretty easy to come by at 65 really. Um, really it is. I should make a guide on making money if I wasn't so lazy. But there's plenty of them out there, some outdated, some not so much. Some are good, some are less good. But I'm not going to get into that in this video. Bottom line is, if you are 65 and you don't have a maxed out essence step in and a craft yet, work on it. Trust me, it will be worth it. Eventually, in the future, at some point, it will be worth it. Thing is, the craft does not disappear. Yes, sure, it might be a few tedious days of work to get it up there. You can also use crafting boosts and stuff like that to level up your crafting faster. But after those 2 weeks or 3 weeks that you dedicate to leveling up the craft is there to stay. It's not going to go anywhere. As long as you will have that tune, you will have access to the crafting skills, to the essence stepping skills, to the ether stepping skills that you leveled up, and to all the designs that you have acquired. And you might end up just wanting to make a set of handcrafted armor for your alternative character just for the purpose of fashion, or you might just want to get your hands on rare skins and sell them for good money, or just have a rare skin that no one else has for the sake of having it. So that's really one way to approach crafting. So I really strongly advise anyone who is taking their character a bit more seriously to level up at least one craft and essence stepping to max. Even if you don't like it, you might end up needing it. Well, that would be all. If you have any more additional questions that I could possibly answer, or any remarks to this video, or any reaction at all, to be honest, be it positive or negative, I'll welcome you in the comments below, and see you in the next video, I guess.